All right, everyone, how we doing? What's going on? We fed? We've had a lot to drink, not too much, I hope. We just want to get tonight started and say welcome to Legal Outreach's 40th anniversary benefit. My name is Omar Jimenez. I'm a correspondent with CNN, and I am standing here next to...
Hello, good evening. My name is Shannon LaNier. I'm an anchor at Cheddar News as well as News 12. And yes, as some of the young people in the audience have asked, I am the news anchor dad on TikTok. So follow our family fun at Mr. Shannon LaNier.
So we want to go back up to the top here. And when we talk about this particular group, we're here tonight to guide you through this celebration of 4 decades of legal outreach. Pretty incredible. An organization that has made such a lasting impact on so many that are here tonight. So let's just start. If you've provided that impact or been impacted yourself, give yourselves a round of applause for being a part of 40 years of history. We'd like to welcome Legal Outreach's law firm, corporate partners, and generous individual donors who not only helped raise over $900,000 tonight, but also provided, yeah, you can give yourselves a hand for that, that's pretty great. But also provided inspirational experiences for the students from internships, professional exposure workshops, and more. You've judged debates, you've been guest speakers, mentors. All of these interactions have made such a tangible impact on the students' growth, confidence, and their exposure to the professional world.
And we have a lot of thank yous to get through tonight, so hang with us because there were so many generous people that made tonight possible, who made all of the opportunities in this organization possible, and all the yummy food we had earlier possible. I know I'm stuffed. Yeah, go ahead, give it up for the staff and all that food, because it was good. All right. So we would specifically like to recognize tonight's Keystone supporter and corporate diversity champion, Bloomberg. Give it up for Bloomberg. That's right. Bloomberg has been extremely involved in the constitutional law debate program in recent years.
And we have got the Cornerstone supporters, sponsors Aiken Gump, Cleary Gottlieb, Davis Polk, Patterson Belknap, Reed Smith, and then donors, advisory board member Doug Bacon and Judy Bigelow.
That's right, give it up for them. The anchor supporters sponsor American Express and donors board chair Sintelle Taylor and her husband Ronald, as well as the advisory board member Ann Robinson. Give it up for them.
And we're going to do it like a black graduation. I know they say hold your applause. When you hear your name, just start clapping and going for it, you know? We're just going to keep it going. So we're going to continue thanking the Stepping Stone supporters, sponsors Aerial Property Advisors, Kramer Levin, Proskauer Rose, as well as donors, the Bingaman Foundation, the Morrison and Forster Foundation, our honoree tonight from Bloomberg, David Levine. And there we go. See, that's the winning family right there. And advisory board members James McClammy, Jeff Lewis, and Kevin Tagami.
And finally, a thank you to the brick and mortar supporters, the sponsor Capital One, Kroll and Mooring, Fresh Fields, the NBA. Woo, all right. Come on, we got to see who can win in the claps. The NBA, Oric, Ropes and Gray, Simpson and Thacher, as well as advisory board members Bill Russell, Howard Shafstein, Melvin Rosa, Michael Henry Peter, Dopus, and Sal Shapiro, as well as board member Galen McGowan, and LO executive director, and tonight's honoree, James O'Neill. Give it up for him. Yeah! That's right. And finally, alumnus Larry Blanco. All right. Now, as we celebrate, we, of course, want to extend a hearty welcome to all the LO alumni in the audience. Give yourselves a round. All right, woo! Yes, yes. Get this, we have over 120 alumni in the building tonight. Yes, Your attendance tonight stands as a visible and direct evidence, not circumstantial evidence, of the impact and the work of the organization. The LO provided you the structure and gave you the tools, but let it be clear, there is no doubt that you all did the hard work. That's right. It wasn't easy. That's right. You took advantage of the opportunities, and you used what you learned as a launching pad and discovered your passion and your dreams. Your presence here tonight inspires us all.
I want to try something real quick. James O'Neill. Legal Outreach alums. Oh, this is a good group. And of course, we can't forget the Legal Outreach parents who are here tonight. Look, you not only supported your children, but you embraced Legal Outreach as a partner by not allowing your children to quit when the going got tough. You taught them how to persevere, how not to quit, and how to stay committed until the very end. I personally believe that's what parents do best. So I know you already gave it up, but give it up for the parents in the house tonight. You provided that glue that kept your children on the path to success.
That's for sure, because I'm a father of 3, and we praying for y'all parents. We'll just say that. Whew. It isn't easy. Y'all need awards tonight as well. We should have been giving y'all awards. But of course, we also, by necessity, we must acknowledge the LO staff, the full-timers, the part-timers, the teachers, instructors, mentors, coordinators, volunteers. That's right. We thank both the current and the past people who have contributed to this organization, whose work on the ground level has paved the way and have really paid rich dividends to this organization and so many people whose lives have been impacted. Without you, there is no Legal Outreach. There has been no results that we would have been able to even celebrate tonight without you and all of your hard work. So we thank you for laboring the vineyards. We thank you for the rich harvest that you have helped produce. Give it up for them.
Now, Legal Outreach, of course, couldn't change educational and professional outcomes for students of color, first-generation students, or students from underserved communities if the organization didn't have support from the top. So, I'd like to thank 2 individuals to make their way to the stage to talk from their vantage points about the work of the organization. Representing Legal Outreach's Board of Directors is Board Chair Sintelle Taylor, and representing Legal Outreach's Advisory Board is Board Chair Francesca Odell. It is my pleasure to ask them both to come to the stage.
Good evening. So I'm not using a teleprompter tonight because I refuse to give James my information. And for those of you who know me, you know that I'm always off script, but I hope I'm always saying something meaningful to you. Tonight is very different. I'm going to be on script, and I'm going to read from my iPad. So this is the new universe and new me. When you decide for someone what they can or cannot do, what they should or should not do, what they need or do not need, you are standing in the way of their destiny. When you decide what is right for someone based upon your own set of beliefs, you're standing in the way of their destiny. Oftentimes, the way we live our lives play out is a manifestation of the characters in our lives. Our lives become center stage, and we are the central figures. We often say lights, camera, and action on set. It sets the stage for what we're about to do. The awesome task of rewriting the script includes recasting and recalibrating. Legal Outreach rewrote the script, recast the characters, and started on a journey that began with the vision of James B. O'Neill and his co-creator, Dennis. It was not only his vision, but his supporting cast that created what we can proudly say is one of the most successful pipeline diversity programs in the country. Tonight is a celebration of gratitude and acknowledgement. Friends, family members, students, faculty, staff, board members, advisory board members, funders, thank you for all the sacrifice, for all of your commitment, for your dedication, for your hard work on behalf of our students and our families. Thank you for your mentorships, your volunteerism, your ideas, and your critiques that designed a superior program and created the confidence students needed to pursue their dreams. Thank you for providing the dollars that are crucial for us to survive and provide much-needed services to our students and our families. The reality is, you are our co-creators. It cannot be done without you. It cannot be done without you. I want to thank you for not only helping us raise the bar, but for helping us keep the bar elevated so high that the expectations of this program are unmatched. I want to welcome you to 40 years of absolute excellence. Welcome to the dreams fulfilled. Before I go on, I want to thank the faculty and I want to thank the staff. What an amazing and extraordinary job they've done, not just over the 40 years, so for past faculty, but present faculty, and seeing us through this horrific time in our lives. They have worked tirelessly to make sure that our students did not miss a beat, and they have not missed a beat. I want to say thank you to Bathsheba. Bathsheba. I'm getting a little emotional. This is not easy work. Nothing that she does is easy. And yet she makes it look seamless. It feels seamless. Her outcomes are extraordinary. The work that she does with these students is unmatched. The conversations, I don't know if Bathsheba actually sleeps. I know I don't. So I don't know if she actually sleeps, but what I do know is when I hear the results, every year I think she's done it again. And I'm never surprised. She is an extraordinary human being. I want to say thank you to Claire for working tirelessly to put this event on. What an amazing 40-year anniversary. I want to also congratulate David Levine, our corporate diversity champion, and what a huge supporter he has become. Thank you so very much. So governance. Governing James and I'm laughing. Governing James has been one of the biggest blessings and honors of my life. When you come from nothing, as we did, and you navigate and you move from nothing to something, and you understand the sacrifices that one makes to provide other people with opportunities, then you understand the sacrifices that he's made. I want to say thank you, James, for not just everything you've done, but for everything you are, for modeling behavior that we could look up to every day, not just our students, but our faculty and our staff and our board members. I want to thank you for sacrificing your own personal and professional life so that you could breathe life into other people. I want to say thank you on behalf of every person sitting in this room, because you, my dear, have become not only an exceptional professional and a huge presence in this space, but you've also become a friend to all of us. So thank you for your service. Thank you for blessing us. Thank you for not spending a lot of money every year. But beyond that, thank you for showing up for these families and these students year after year after year without complaint. We appreciate you. Thank you. I would normally share with you the stats on our program right about now during this presentation, but I'm going to ask you to forgive me for not sharing statistics with you tonight. What I can say to you is that any program that delivers 99% acceptance rate, you don't need to hear any stats from me tonight. The results are the results. And our young people have done extraordinary things. They've reached back to the community. They've become mentors. They've become volunteers. They've become change creators in our communities. And that was the point. That was a part of the vision. That was a part of the dream fulfilled. And we know they will go on to do great things. And they are doing great things. And you will hear from some of them this evening. But what you need to know beyond anything else is that what's been accomplished here has not been accomplished by very many programs. And while many, many people have pushed and prodded for us to serve more students and more students and more students, we have stood our ground because you have to understand that it's not quantity, it's quality. And if you do it right with the quality, you will get the quantity, because the students will go back to the communities and they will become change agents, and they will bring others along, just as I did and just as James continues to do. James's mission, his vision, was to shatter barriers to access, to opportunity, and resources by providing programs that would create a power dynamic within students that cannot be denied. Education is that power dynamic. Education took me out of a ghetto that I would consider to be a third world country and lifted me and elevated me to some of the highest places in this country. I have worked and served with presidents, chiefs of staff, corporate executives, and done so proudly. Education can change lives. What you're doing for us and what you have done for us has changed lives. And so when you leave here tonight, I want you to know that it's not just writing the checks. It's the volunteering, it's the mentoring, it's picking up the phone when I call it ungodly hours, when James calls it ungodly hours. It's answering the call. You have answered the call. And I can tell you that what's going on out in the world beyond those doors does not represent what's going on in this room. And I am very proud to be a part of it. I am very proud to have partnered with all of you. I'm very proud to stand here with Francesca, who has become a very dear friend. I'm very proud of Legal Outreach and every single person and every single thing associated with it. I wanted to share a bit of what James has sacrificed, because not many of us get the opportunity to go to Ivy League schools. Not many of us get the opportunity to go to college, which is why what we've done here is so extraordinary. But going to an Ivy League school, it doesn't make a difference if you're black, white, green, or purple, is an accomplishment. And now think about getting into an Ivy League law school and you're a black man. Well, that's an accomplishment. And now think about turning down opportunities on Wall Street. One would question your mental capabilities. but that's what James did. And he's been blessed for it, and we have been blessed for it. And doing this work requires you to put one boot on at a time. It requires you to be resilient. A lot of people say no to you. But for those people who do say yes to you, it opens up the world. It opens up opportunities. On behalf of the Board of Directors, on behalf of the students, on behalf of our families, thank you for blessing us. Thank you for partnering with us. Thank you for supporting James through 40 years. 40 years. And as James's era kind of comes to a close, and we welcome in Tamika, I want to say to you, that change is a good thing. We call it enriching. We're being enriched. We're facing new times, new eras, new circumstances. She is amazing, and she will continue to be amazing. And what I would ask you to do is to continue with the legacy of excellence by supporting Tamika and her new administration, by supporting our families, by supporting our boards. Continue the volunteerism, continue mentoring, continue giving what you can when you can. There's nothing ever too little. Giving is a service. Service is a blessing. We have been blessed. Thank you.
So wait, one more round of applause for Sintelle. I have learned so much in the time that I have spent with legal outreach. I started working with legal outreach in 1995, but there's one thing I have not mastered, which is trying to go before Sintelle. Because going after Sintelle is quite a hard act, and I've been doing it for a while. But she's done so much for the organization, so thank you, and thank the whole board of directors. And welcome to all of you. We debated back and forth whether we should have a bigger event this year, something more festive, and just looking out at so many familiar faces, so many students that I've met over the years, I guess adults now. I'm really glad we did it. It's wonderful to see everyone together in the room to celebrate legal outreach, to celebrate James, to celebrate Tamika, and we're just thrilled to have you all here. And thank you to everyone at Legal Outreach who put so much work into this event, because it is a tremendous amount of work. And thank you all for making it to another event in June. I know that many of you support other organizations, and June is a month of many festivities. But for us, this one is just so meaningful and important, and we thank you so much for all of your support. When we spoke about this event and the need to celebrate James and what he's done for the organization, of course, James said that we couldn't do that, and we fought it a little bit. So you'll have moments of celebrating James throughout the evening, which is why I, too, protested providing my script in advance of remarks, but I'm going to keep it really brief because we have a lot of folks who want to talk about James. The legal profession, which is the one I'm involved in, is like so many other professions, needing of a more diverse group of leaders and professionals. And the fact that the legal profession is not as diverse as it should be is one that pains a number of us who are involved in it, and legal outreach is really a very important part of the solution to that issue. It provides individuals, like all of us, and the institutions that we're affiliated with, who believe in the importance of diversity and inclusion, with an opportunity to start to change that from the ground up, as opposed to trying to deal with the aftermath of that unfortunate situation. We focus each day on exposing many of the youth that you've met tonight to a world that they should have access to in the first place, a world in which many of us here tonight are already involved. In our audience are parents, as we heard about before, students, young professionals, but also teachers and instructors, coordinators, mentors, and so many other people that are important to that journey. Thanks to all of you and for your commitment to making a difference and to supporting legal outreach. Access to this profession is very important, but it's just a first step. Legal outreach takes that mission beyond access. It provides training, resources, and experiences that are so important to understanding what the legal profession is about and what other professions are about. All of this helps our students understand what it might be like to be a lawyer, or if they don't like that, what it might be like to be a professional in finance or in another area. Just having access to that opportunity is incredibly important. So thank you for celebrating all the achievements of legal outreach with us tonight. James, your vision of this organization was extraordinary. It surprises me every day how someone at that point in their life could have such a vision and then spend their entire career fulfilling it. It's an amazing gift, and we're all so very thankful. Tamika, we're so excited for where you're going to take this organization, and we're all going to stay along for the ride. We appreciate your commitment to legal outreach and everything that you've done and also everything that you're going to do. And I really trust that with all of our focus, that over the years, the folks at these tables in the front of the room are going to start to look more like the real world, and that law firms and other legal professions are going to have that same diverse approach to focusing and providing access and to lawyering and to mastering our professions. So thank you everyone for coming tonight. Thank you for all of your support of legal outreach, and we hope you enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Sintelle and Francesca. Now, look, it's one thing to say 40 years. It's another thing to fully understand the significance of 40 years. So, Legal Outreach has put together a video timeline that will allow us to hear from those who are instrumental in the development and growth of the organization. Now, in this first video, Legal Outreach's co-founder and executive director, James O'Neill. There, come on, quicker, you gotta be quicker. Seeing who's awake, come on. It's where he shares his inspiration for co-founding the organization immediately after graduating from Harvard Law School. You'll see how the program planted seeds within the public schools of Harlem with the support of law students from NYU and Columbia who brought the law to life. And you'll see how the lessons learned led to the formation of what is now known as the College Bound program. Enjoy this glimpse into the first 2 decades of legal outreach.
Looking back at myself as an 8th grader before joining legal outreach, I didn't really know the options that were set out for me.
I think I was really focused on the day-to-day survival and thinking about tomorrow and not necessarily about my future.
Before joining legal outreach, I didn't know how to set goals and achieve them.
I was always hesitant to take opportunities. I didn't really have a lot of guidance and support. I was not as confident.
I was a blank canvas. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, but I knew I wanted to do something exciting that developed me and helped me grow into a great human being, a great adult.
You have to aim higher and you have to kind of know yourself. And I felt that like during my 4 years at legal outreach, I really learned to feel like, you know, I can literally achieve whatever it is I set my mind to.
To think about not only what I want to do with my future, but also how to get there.
I've become the man that I am today in large part because of James O'Neill, Beth Cooper, and the opportunities that legal outreach afforded me.
I never thought that I could mesh my passion for community work with my commitment to social justice with the rigor of the law.
Now, because of legal outreach, I know I can.
After graduating from Harvard Law School in 1982, I could not have predicted that I would be at the helm of an organization that would impact life trajectories. When I came to Harlem over 40 years ago with a 1-year public interest law fellowship, The only thing I knew was that I wanted to be a part of the continuing struggle to equalize opportunity, especially for minorities who had been historically denied their rights to full citizenship within this great country, and whose life prospects were marginal at best. As an African American growing up in the South, I realized that I was fortunate to have made my way to Harvard, but once I arrived, I was quickly exposed to the differences governing the life prospects of the privileged versus the underprivileged. It was all in plain view. Yet, it ignited within me an intense desire to be a part of the movement to bridge the divide by expanding educational opportunities for those growing up in urban communities. I wanted to improve the odds for success. It was a journey of faith, but as it began, I was fortunate to meet two people who played a critical role in the creation and establishment of LO. One was the other co-founder of the organization, Dennis Cotto, who partnered with me for 2 years before attending Georgetown Law School.
Well, I was born and raised in East Harlem, a product of a broken family, but I had some people in my life who gave me an opportunity to go to college. And in college, at Hampshire College, I had an epiphany that in order to succeed, you have to have not only people, but you have to have the right tools to change and break the cycle of poverty. And so I came back to my community of East Harlem. First thought that the solution would be to help people through paralegal services that James and I, in our original office, we had a team of paralegals helping folks in the community with their legal issues. But afterwards, I realized that that was a short-term solution to a long-term problem, and realized that education, meaning the curriculum that we would later develop to empower kids to think critically, analytically, that was going to be the key tool to breaking that cycle of poverty and allowing the kids in our communities to prosper.
The target audience during those early years were students from Harlem and East Harlem. Working through the school system, and especially with social studies teachers, we sought to provide young people with instruction about rights and responsibilities and insights as to how the law and the legal system could be used to improve the quality of life in their communities. The goal was to motivate students to become active citizens and advocates for change in their homes and neighborhoods, with a secondary goal of inspiring them to think about law as a potential career path. We sought to do so by creating a full-year, multifaceted law program built upon a curriculum called Law in the Community, which later became known as Law and Social Problems.
I was a middle school teacher, 8th grade, social studies teacher in Harlem in District 5. Our school participated in a legal outreach program.
It was tremendous. The social studies curriculum overwhelmingly meant teaching history. And, you know, despite your best efforts as a teacher to make it interesting, there was a lot that was lacking. And with the legal outreach program, things involved students to a far greater degree.
They found interest in it because it was relevant to their life, whether it was landlord-tenant stuff, whether it was about the criminal justice process. All those things really resonated. For a lot of my students, it was the first time they had to really put that level of effort in academically to accomplish something like that. For them to have to apply their knowledge in that type of way to, present arguments and to really replicate what a legal proceeding was like, it took a lot of students to the next level in terms of their ability to follow through on things, in terms of their critical thinking, in terms of their confidence.
Getting them to understand how all that works was a real challenge for them, but they rose to the occasion. It pushed students, young middle school students, to excel.
Though the curriculum was engaging and relevant, we knew that instruction alone was not enough. To change attitudes and affect behavior, we had to expose students to people in the profession who could give them hope.
When I was a first-year law student at Columbia Law School, I signed up for a class that was called Teaching Law and Social Problems because it sounded interesting, but also the professor was African American. And as an African American law student at the time at Columbia, it was a rare treat to have someone who looked like me actually teaching a course.
So I took the course with James O'Neill, and we spent the first semester developing curriculum to talk about in classrooms with, I think, 8th graders. We covered topics like landlord-tenant issues, PINs, persons in needs of supervision, and other relevant topics that the students might relate to, either with their own personal lives or their families' lives.
I know firsthand what it's like to grow up in a zip code where resources aren't available, where schools are not as, they're not as robust.
And being a law student at the time, being a young law student, young Black woman, I think that made a difference to them. It made a difference to me also.
I could see the brilliance, really, of James's idea of, using these legal issues that had a lot of dynamism to it, that had a lot of relevance.
They were like an open book, really wanting to learn about how the law affected them and how they could affect the law, and it was fun.
I also know it helped them to be curious and grasp the law in a way that was understandable. So again, if they understand the law, they can think, maybe I could go to law school.
Just as importantly, we had to involve them in exercises and processes, mock trials and moot court competitions that could increase their belief in the system's fairness.
One of the things that struck me about the program was that it showed the students that they could be a part of the system of criminal justice and not just subject to it, that they could attain roles as lawyers, as prosecutors, as defense lawyers, as judges even, and be part of the change in the system.
Whenever you get to have people around you who genuinely respect your capability and are supportive of, not only in words, but in action, of your desire to be whatever it is that you want to be it an attorney, be it a doctor, astronaut, president, you name it. You could see the lights coming on, and you could see what was great in the mock trials and in the practice for the mock trial was just seeing them get into it,
I think it's important for them to see how the system works. Obviously, there can be a perception that the system of justice is stacked against you. And I think through participating in the mock trial program, they saw that the courts and the law aren't necessarily just a system of oppression, but a system, an opportunity to obtain justice for everybody.
Debating, constitutional debating, learning debate skills is not something that, is useful only in, the context of high school debating or whatever. It's a skill that really transfers over to everything you do, for the rest of your life. And that's, advocating for yourself, developing a sense of confidence in your abilities in front of an audience, feeling confident in the things that you learn, and feel confident in expressing an opinion.
There was a newfound sense of hope that emerged within us and confidence that arose within the students through the implementation of the program. From the early 80s through the late 80s, we were elated because it was clear that this full-year law-based program for 8th graders was a game changer. Students saw, experienced, and latched on to the possibilities. However, by the time we reached the late 80s and early 90s, it became equally as clear that a one-year program, no matter how dynamic, was not powerful enough to thrust students through high school and into college where they would at least have a fighting chance to pursue their dreams. The multifaceted law program was necessary, but not sufficient.
As we randomly encountered our middle school participants who were now in high school, I became more and more frustrated because it was apparent that our former students were not being prepared to pursue the bright futures we'd predicted for them. Extremely capable students were falling by the wayside. They weren't acquiring the skills, receiving the support, nor developing the disciplines necessary to change their career paths.
Though we didn't have any funding that first year, we, at Bathsheba's insistence, made a commitment to support through high school a limited number of 8th grade students each year. We would provide them with 4 years of academic help, professional exposure, and motivational activities that would enable them to maximize their grades and scores and keep their educational and career hopes alive.
Those programs included a series of life and study skills workshops, an academic advisory program, a 4-year writing program, and a constitutional law debate competition. Those programs were followed by summer internships, a summer SAT prep program, and a college-level philosophy course. The programs were then capped off with an college admissions workshop series supplemented by individual advising that enabled us to direct students toward the types of schools that would keep their hopes and dreams alive. This series of programs became known as College Bound.
Everyone at Legal Outreach had and has big dreams for every child that steps through the doors, and they understand what it takes to create lasting change. They keep everyone focused on the prize to the best of their abilities and provide opportunities to develop and hone those skills to be competitive and successful at a higher level.
It wasn't until Legal Outreach that I knew what was involved in going to college, and I was excited about going to college because I had done all these papers already because of the Saturday writing class, and I had done the mock trial, and Legal Outreach really instilled in us that college was the next step, and this is what you have to prepare for to get to college, and this is what you're going to expect in college. And I had never really been excited about the process until I understood the process, and that was because of Legal Outreach.
The 4-year, year-round college-bound program worked. Our Harlem students were not only graduating from high school, but gaining admission to competitive colleges.
So now you've seen the progress and what it takes. And now we want you to hear from a brother and sister alumni combination in the flesh who are graduates of the first 2 college-bound classes, Sandy Santana, class of 1993, and my coworker, Maria Santana-Guadalupe, class of 1994.
Hi, everyone. Well, Sandy was born first, so I'm going to let him go first so he can tell you all about Legal Outreach.
How it works. Good evening. In 1989, a young, slim lawyer named, he was about $110, for real, James O'Neill, turned my 8th grade classroom into a courtroom and addressed me as Attorney Santana. Those 2 words, Attorney Santana, sparked the vision that helped me blaze an improbable trail from Harlem to Harvard to Columbia Law School, and now to the helm of a national children's advocacy organization. Thank you. At just 14, I was an intern at a law firm, and I was the only kid my age who I knew that when asked what he wanted to be when he grew up, I responded, a corporate lawyer. Yes, corporate lawyers in the house. That LO internship experience lit a fire in me, but it wasn't enough. I was a shy kid who did not want to step out of his comfort zone. The mock trials and debates changed that. With each presentation in front of a group of intimidating lawyers and judges, I grew in confidence. With a newfound vision and belief, I committed to LO's rigorous skill-building programs, including those God-forsaken early morning Saturday writing classes. You got alumni know what I mean. Although it was not easy to balance school with LO's supplemental academic programs, I dove in head first because I saw the fruits of the extra preparation. I became a straight A student, and LO's free SAT course helped me increase my score by 300 points, making me a competitive applicant to the nation's top colleges. And all along the way, James, Bathsheba, and the LO staff were there to push, prod, support, and encourage me. And here I am, 34 years later, with a full heart, immensely grateful to that young lawyer who, with two powerful words, Attorney Santana, changed the course of my and my family's destiny.
And now you know why. Why can't you be more like your brother was all I heard growing up. But unlike my brother, my dream at 14 was surprisingly not to become a corporate lawyer. At that age, I honestly had no idea what I wanted to do. All I knew was that my brother had just joined a program that kept him pretty busy most of the time, after school, on weekends, during the summer. And my first initial thought was, geez, why would I want to do that? After all, I was the cool, popular one with an actual social life, so I didn't want to join legal outreach. But a year later, that same young attorney, here he comes again, showed up at my 8th grade classroom and presented us with the opportunity to participate in legal outreach mock trial tournament. At that point, I relied on the one thing that motivated me for most of my adolescent years, which was, if he can do it, well, I can do it too. Nothing like a little sibling rivalry, right? But the experience quickly showed me that beyond following in my big brother's footsteps, I could actually come into my own. With LO's support, I began to excel, also getting A's, maybe not straight, but mostly. And for the first time in my life, I began dreaming about going to college. Our parents are first-generation immigrants. They don't speak fluent English. They had not attended college themselves. And though they always stressed the importance of education, they could only do so much to help us get there. But it was because of Legal Outreach's College Bound program that I realized that through hard work, determination, and perseverance, not only could I go to college, but that I could aspire to attend some of the most selective colleges in the country. So I ended up at Wesleyan University, which some like to call the Harvard of Connecticut. Sorry, Yale. Of course, I prefer to call Harvard the Wesleyan of Massachusetts. And ultimately, I didn't become a lawyer, even though my husband would say that I did learn how to argue like one. I am an anchor and correspondent for CNN en Español, CNN. Thank you. And I can honestly say that the values, visions, and skills that I gained during my time at Legal Outreach still motivate and propel me to this day. Writing is essential to what I do, as is being an effective researcher and communicator. How I approach My work today continues to be shaped by how I was taught through legal outreach to mock trial, college writing courses, and debate prep to think critically, analyze, question, and challenge evidence and examine witnesses. That's right. We might have a love-hate relationship, lawyers and reporters, but our job is very, very similar. And I do all of this, all while focused on one of legal outreach's most important pillars, paying it forward by informing, educating, and serving the community.
Thank you. The sibling rivalry is real, y'all. But she got her revenge because no one knows who I am, but people will stop me and say, "Are you the brother of Maria who's on TV?" So there you go. If you're an LO alum, as we are, there are certain principles, LOisms, I call them, that are forever engraved in your mind and heart. Short-term gain leads to long-term what? That's right. And short-term pain leads to? No excuses, right? And my favorite, which somehow did not make the LO accountability pledge, which is boyfriends and girlfriends may come and go, but your grades will stay with you forever. With 3 teenagers now, I have newfound appreciation for that last one. The point is that LO immerses you in a culture of accountability, sacrifice, sharing, and serving that fundamentally transforms you. And because these values are the bedrock of all you achieve, you can't hold them as your own. You're compelled to pass them along. That is why Maria and I cajoled our reluctant sister Erica to join LO. She did, went to Hobart and William Smith colleges, and credits LO for her success. And although my children have not gone through the college-bound program, they are also enveloped in the LO ethos. They know they can dream deep. They know their lives should honor the sacrifices our immigrant grandparent or their immigrant grandparents made for me, but for them as well. They know that if they fall 7 times, they have the confidence and license to get up 8. They know that when they lift others up, they also rise. And they know they would not have many of the privileges they enjoy today without LO's early intervention in my life. I see those LO values as a treasured legacy that I pass on to my kids and that I know they will pass on to theirs. 40 years and counting, thousands of lives transformed, and hundreds of thousands more in the generations to come. That is the power of LO.
You know, I really would love to stand here and just say that Sandy and I are extra special, uber talented, prodigy geniuses, but we're not. Our testimonies and experiences are not unique. Among the hundreds of students that Legal Outreach has helped reach their ultimate potential, there are dozens of sibling pairs like us that have endured the short-term pain for that long-term gain. That's right, associated with the program. Of course, there were many days when I would have preferred hanging out with my friends after school or on a Saturday afternoon, times when I just didn't feel like writing another essay. After all, one of Mr. O'Neill's, and I know he wants me to call him James, but to me, he'll always be Mr. O'Neill. One of his favorite stories is at that one Saturday that I showed up without my assignment and thought that I could get away with writing it in the bathroom 10 minutes before class. I got caught because, I'm sorry, he looked at me coming from the bathroom with a notebook in my hand. He looked at me, looked at my notebook and asked, "Did you just write that in the bathroom?" And of course, you don't lie to Mr. O'Neill, so I said, "Yes, I did." Of course, I was given a double assignment for the following Saturday. But the one thing that LO never allowed me to do was give up on myself, because they were never going to give up on me. No matter how many times you fall, the program encourages you to get up each and every time. And that's the special bond that the students and graduates of Legal Outreach share. We learn early on that achieving our goals takes sacrifice and this constant strive for excellence. We may all have individual stories, but we have all reached the same conclusion. It was definitely worth it. And I just want to say that the work of legal outreach does not stop when you graduate high school. Every time I had a problem in college, I would call Ms. O'Neill or call Ms. Cooper, Bathsheba, as now I'm allowed to call her, to tell her what was going on. Ms. Cooper helped me plan my wedding. They know my kids. They go to the, they've participated in a lot of activities in the program as well. This is a family. We love each other, and we know that only lifting each other up does this happen. So thank you so much for being here. My brother and I are especially grateful and blessed to be a part of this program.
That's right. Give it up for the Santana siblings. Woo! I'm like, wow. 3 in one family. I'm gonna let y'all know I have 3 kids too, by the way. Maybe we can work something out, get them in. And for nothing else, to teach them about that boys will come and go forever. I mean, that part, they come and go. The grades are forever. I like that. I teach my oldest daughter that. All right, well, and the 20-plus years that followed Sandy and Maria, time at LO, James, Bathsheba, and the wide range of LO staff members, they created, refined, and implemented a program that was the model that has worked and continues to work till this day. So in the next video, you will learn from LO's alumni across the city how this program made an impact on the lives as students, as professionals, and as people. And following that video, you'll hear from Jonathan Jordan, class of 2011, as he looks back, woo, yeah, 2011. And he's really gonna give us an opportunity as he reflects and looks back on the significance of LO support as he's journeyed through high school and to college and to his chosen profession. So please, make your attention to the video.
The success of the newly created college-bound program in the 90s led to expansion opportunities. We were featured on NBC News with Tom Brokaw and highlighted as an example of, quote, what works. That national exposure led to calls from parents all over New York City who wanted to know how to enroll their child or children in the program.
When my daughter was graduating from middle school and entering high school, I had some fears and concerns. My fear was that she wasn't going to receive the education that she needed for college from a public high school.
So after doing my due diligence and seeing all that legal outreach offered for my children and for my son, it helped me as a individual who grew up in the inner city, who wasn't afforded opportunities to excel in higher education, knowing that they would get the proper education, or should we say double school, as my children would put it, helped me to push the envelope a little further to say, yes, you have to be a part of this program, because in order to be a professional, you have to be educated.
They became more confident. They learned things that they would not have learned had they not participated. And they were also excited about the exposure that they were going to get to colleges, to law firms, regardless of what they were doing there.
Not only did legal outreach help her academically, but as the saying goes, it takes a village, and legal outreach was my village.
With funding, we were able to expand from Harlem to other underserved communities in Manhattan, then from Manhattan to Brooklyn, from Brooklyn to Queens, and finally from Queens to the Bronx. To serve more students, rather than work with school districts, we formed alliances with law schools to introduce 8th graders to the law through a 5-week summer law institute that was a condensed version of the full-year law program implemented in Harlem.
I
view the SLI program as kind of the beginning for me. I came into the program with a lot of energy, a lot of excitement and hope for the future, but not really sure how or where to channel it.
The 5-week course definitely helped me understand the importance of really dedicating my life to not only my profession, but also developing my character.
I was always very self-motivated, and I always wanted better for myself in a sense, but I think that summer really showed me that there was no limits to what I could achieve.
So it was really much like a dream, and maybe an unattainable dream to be a lawyer, but going through SLI, it made it all very tangible.
It was such a huge launchboard for what I thought of myself and how I thought I could build my life, and even who I became in high school and later in college.
I started to really think, wow, someone actually wants more for me. They want me to go to college. They want me to be able to not only have a seat at the table, but also understand, what do I do once I have a seat at the table?
SLI really allowed me to create a vision where there wasn't one before, right? I've been saying I wanted to be an attorney, but didn't really understand what that was.
So as I think about the college-bound program, what stands out to me the most is how much LO actually believed in me, and the fact that they saw so much more than I saw it myself. I think beyond what you'll hear time and again from all the other alumni is that the resources that we had in our high school weren't frankly enough.
So Legal Outreach's greatest impact was my education. It served as my primary source of education in high school. I didn't go to a competitive school, and many of my peers in the program were often 1 to 2 levels in math and science ahead of me. So it definitely helped me to be a better student and matriculate into Babson College.
It's about exposure, because when you are in high school, the public school system will only provide you so much. When you have an extended after-school program that's free, and you allow students to become exposed to debates, to other peers, learning SATs, you're giving them an opportunity to really open avenues to other success in life and opportunities in life that you can take.
Not only did we practice speaking persuasively, but we had to speak in front of people, which for most people, especially at that age, you're, in an official setting, of course, it's quite nerve-wracking. But I feel like I came alive, and that's why I continued with LO, because I loved it so much.
Now I was in an environment with like-minded people who are wanting to break generational curses and wanting to really make a mark in the world,
So seeing other people who also wanted to do the same thing that I did, maybe not the law route, but just making sure that they can excel in everything that they do, really gave me that confidence.
They were committed to making sure that I made it out that program, not just graduating from high school, but actually achieving the success that I'd set, the success and the goals that I set for myself very early on.
I can honestly say that the College Bound program prepared me for being an attorney just as much as law school did. From the grammar classes to the debate competitions, I learned so much about the basics of what I needed to do to be a successful professional, and those carried on to being a successful attorney as well.
I think that without legal outreach, I definitely would not have had the resources that I need. My parents and myself, being immigrants, we didn't know how the college process worked or the things that we should be thinking about, from participation in extracurriculars to preparing to financially pay for college. Legal Outreach helped provide all of those resources and then helped me build a baseline skill set.
I didn't have anyone from my family to really look to for help, or I'm a first-generation student, so that was not really an option for me. So it was either I'm figuring out on my own, but then it's Legal Outreach coming in to provide that support.
I feel like Legal Outreach planted a seed in me and considering the possibility of having a legal career and being confident doing so.
So while Legal Outreach is still about law, it also positioned me to build my skills so I can be in areas, be in the rooms where different professionals were there and still be able to speak for myself and make myself sound as a smart young man.
I'm sitting in front of a board of executives every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And part of that presentation skill really was honed in legal outreach through mock trials. The first time winning a mock trial debate felt like I was on top of a mountain. So that confidence and just understanding that I can present and I can really motivate people to not only take action has helped me day in and day out in my day-to-day job.
One thing that I really want to stress is I think there are a lot of organizations right now that are focused on bringing more diversity to the table, but what legal outreach does that is really special is they empower you to have a voice once you're at the table. So it's not just about getting there, but it's really about using that voice to make a difference.
We've got a great speaker right now, an alum himself, Jonathan Jordan.
Thanks so much. Good evening. My name is Jonathan Jordan, but my name is not particularly important for the context of my purpose of speaking with you this evening. And that is because, as you've heard, I am only one of almost 1,000 students and graduates that legal outreach has guided over the years. My twin brother and I grew up in humble beginnings. While I can say that we had all the necessities, extracurriculars were cut to maintain a strict budget. We lived in Flatbush, Brooklyn, which, although today is trendy, very much so, at the time was not the most desirable place to live. As a result, Aaron, my twin brother, my confidant, my co-conspirator in our lot in life, led an isolated and somber existence. It was me and Aaron against a world where excellence, academic excellence as a black male in our neighborhood felt like going against the grain. Some extraordinary event, an act of disbelief. But during our teens, my parents structured our lives around education. And we took this to heart because even at a young age, we understood that this was the only way out. But grit can only get you so far. At the time, my parents had only been familiar with the local CUNY college system. And for all my love for my mother, who's here today, thank you. She simply did not know how to maximize our potential and options. She simply did what any mother would, the best that she could. So how do you win the game of higher education when you barely know the rules? I guess looking back, the odds seem stacked against us. But then something special happened. As we were set to graduate the Salk School of Science in 8th grade, legal outreach came into our lives. I dove headfirst into debate, and for the first time, I interacted with men who wore suits to work. And as a young man, that was amazing. I thought to myself, if I continue to work diligently and hard, perhaps one day that could be me. Christian, Toussaint, you were my inspiration, my charge to be better. But what captured my soul was that finally, we were not alone. We had a village of people vested in our success. And by the time we were halfway through high school, it became evident that we had fighters in our corner, much to my parents' delight. Exasperated and many times overwhelmed, we found solace through legal outreach on how to successfully navigate the college admissions process. Now, I went to Beacon, and to my understanding, it's still a selective, desirable institution. But nevertheless, we were all surprised at how an excellent school like Beacon commoditized the guidance counselor process. We felt like a number. And though my brother and I had the 3.9 out of 4.0 GPAs, The key takeaway was we were highly encouraged to diversify our list by adding SUNYs and CUNYs to the list because Ivy League aspirations were not as realistic. When we shared this news with Ms. Cooper, we promptly threw out this advice. And in its place, we were introduced to a new list of schools that no one in my family had ever heard of, liberal arts colleges. It was because legal outreach really knew us, really set the expectation and bar as high as my parents would have wanted. The limited suggestions of our high school guidance counselor process were just not acceptable for them. And with LO's guidance, we applied to schools far beyond what we had known in our previously isolated world. It was because of legal outreach that my twin, my co-conspirator, became my college rival as I matriculated and ultimately graduated from Amherst College. At the time, ranked number 2, and my brother, always keen to compete and outdo me, attended Williams because it was ranked number 1. As a result of the opportunities and the quality of education found at our respective colleges, our lives have continued to blossom. My brother is now a dentist in Maryland with a family of his own. I'm a private equity professional in Connecticut. I know neither of us doing the law thing, but we still appreciate and love LO. Our children will be exposed to a life far more promising because of the lessons we've learned and the path that we followed. I'd like to close with this. As stated earlier, and as you already probably know, this is not just a story of the Jordan brothers. And as you've heard shortly today, ours is just one drop in the ocean, one piece of the mosaic of hundreds of students who have passed through Legal Outreach's doors since the 1990s. Originally, I did not want to share my story here today because the truth is, Aaron and I were deeply dissatisfied with our lives. We wanted to leave the past behind. But I was compelled to speak with you all today because it is a privilege to be able to share what is so special about being a part of the Legal Outreach family. It's a sense of community that is seemingly impossible to find, but so immensely valuable at the key inflection points in a young student's journey. It creates that new path for their families and eventually those who will come after them. The world is only becoming more competitive, more isolated, more fierce. And the mission and ethos of Legal Outreach is more important now than ever. Thank you for listening to my story.
Well, Jordan, I'm sure I'm not alone when I'm saying I'm glad you shared your story. And where's Jordan's mama? Where's mama at? Mama, stand up. Let's give her flowers. Not one, but two. Made it happen. Give you those flowers. All right. In our final video, we'll look at how LO's relationship with New York's top law firms and corporations have enriched the program by giving LO students first-hand experiences as professionals through the internship program and professional exposure program. Now, these partnerships have allowed LO participants to gain access to spaces, as we all know, they're often reserved for the privileged.
5 years ago or so, I received a call from a young man named James O'Neill. He was looking for firms who could take in 3 interns for a few weeks or a week in the summer to expose them to the practice of law. And I was very taken with the idea. Sometimes we as lawyers spend too much time within the confines of our office and don't think enough about our community. In just a short number of days, I see the transformation in their self-confidence, in their ability to communicate, in their willingness to learn. And they're not they're not uncomfortable anymore in the context of a law firm or dealing with legal issues. They feel much better about themselves. And to me, that's a critical gift that legal outreach gives to its students.
For us as a firm, I think, we're obviously very devoted to finding kids like the legal outreach kids and bringing them into the firm. But it's also important for us in a more public spirited way to do what we can to help kids like the legal outreach kids succeed in the world.
It's also been a wonderful opportunity for us to meet students, and I think hopefully it's been a great opportunity for legal outreach students to get to meet lawyers and staff at some of the larger firms in the city.
We see it as a way of giving, and I find with all of these types of efforts, but particularly with legal outreach, that I get more than I personally get, and we get more just from the exposure and the experience of being with these children than they get from us.
I think it's been a valuable experience for many of our staff and lawyers just to be exposed to a program like legal outreach, to be able to be part of that journey. It's also been a really valuable program, I think, for the students that have been involved, because they can be exposed to an environment where we're practicing law at hopefully the highest levels, and they get to see what that looks like.
It was absolutely terrific. Guess what? My little cohort showed up in their blue suits, and the ladies in their lawyer-alike outfits, and they got to work. Now I happened to put my little group together writing bills. Now they may have been 13 and 14 years old, but I can tell you one thing: they knew how to charge. So we had a wonderful time.
Within this last decade, we have expanded our partnerships by working with a number of non-legal corporations that are striving to achieve more diversity within their ranks.
Legal outreach provides us as a business the ability to develop a business culture that looks at the full picture, that includes an ecosystem of people, neighborhoods, and the city of New York in the best possible way.
So what we love about the professional exposure programs that we have had at the bank is working with the students, and we've been blown away by their talent and their appetite to hear about the bank and our stories, the legal team. We've watched them evolve from semester to semester, and it's just been really impressive to see.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. And the way legal outreach works with students from an early age and helps to develop them throughout high school and following them into college is just fantastic. And we look forward to partnering with them in the future as we continue our mission on diversity, and look forward to seeing legal outreach succeed for another 40 years.
Each has played a vital role in creating and sustaining our rigorous and comprehensive model. Each partnership that has increased our students' prospects for success has given them hope for the future, has built their confidence in their ability to achieve their goals, and has changed their educational and career trajectory. And there you have it, 4 decades and still going strong.
Four decades, still going strong, and it only seems like it's going to get stronger looking out at this crowd tonight. You all have been great. Now, next you're going to hear from 2 recent alumni. I'm not saying the people who spoke before are old. I'm just saying these are recent alumni. Alexis Nieves and Carolyn Obispo, class of 2022, who benefited from legal outreaches. They benefited from legal outreach's partnerships and took full advantage of every opportunity offered over the course of their 4 years in College Bound. They're right over here. They have also been chosen to introduce our first honoree of the evening, Legal Outreach's 2023 Corporate Diversity Champion.
I love being reminded of LO's rich history.
Me too. I'm really grateful we had the opportunity to participate in the program.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would not be at Yale if it weren't for LO.
And I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be at Swarthmore.
LO has certainly prepared me for success on an academic level. Reflecting back, I'm truly grateful for the Saturday writing, debate, advisory, and internship programs. After experiencing my first year at a 4-year university, I'm more certain than ever that these programs changed my educational prospects. Unfortunately, my high school didn't provide me with basic grammar instruction, any curriculum that was catered towards public speaking, and beyond 9th grade Common Core English, no adequate writing classes. But being a part of legal outreach, I was able to improve my public speaking skills, my ability to critically think about arguments and craft essays, and I was able to gain the confidence that has been essential to feel like an equal when I sit in my college classrooms. Thank you. That preparation has enabled me to finish my first year at Yale with a 4.0 GPA.
So true, Alexis. In addition to the academic preparation, though, LO exposed me to the world beyond my own neighborhood and has given me confidence to know that I belonged. Growing up in Queens, I was surrounded by good, hardworking people, but I rarely encountered people in professional jobs who could direct me. However, as a sophomore at Legal Outreach, I was assigned to a fantastic mentor, shout out to Marsha, who was formerly the Deputy General Counsel at BNY Mellon and who has supported me through debates, the college application process, and really all of high school. We were also fortunate to have received exposure by working at a number of legal organizations. I remember working at Cleary Gottlieb, shout out to Cleary, Schulte Roth, Sullivan and Cromwell, the Chambers of Judge Aarons, and WAFRA Inc. during the summer. Ugh, best summer of my life, Alexis.
That is so real. I worked at NYC Law Department in Brooklyn, Morgan Stanley, Simpson Thatcher, who's here tonight. So shout out to Simpson Thatcher. Freshfields, who's also here tonight. Shout out to Freshfields. And American Express, who is also here tonight. Thank you to all of you. That same summer, and I really miss it. But we both agree that some of our best experiences had to be our participation in the constitutional law debate program. We definitely had some heated debates against each other throughout the years.
Those were always the most intense rounds. Specifically, though, I think our senior year Debater of the Year competition in front of a group of seasoned attorneys from Bloomberg LP was probably the most anticipated debate, at least from the staff's perspective, after seeing us attached to the hip for the previous 4 years. I think that debate was definitely the most fulfilling accomplishment of our LO career. We can proudly say, and hopefully the Bloomberg attorneys can too, that we rose to the occasion.
I mean, we must have, because we did win first and second place.
Yes, but wait, did I win first or did you?
That doesn't matter. Doesn't, not at all. But what I can honestly say is that debating was a special opportunity that has motivated me to continue to work diligently towards my career goals.
No, yeah, most definitely. Honestly, I concur.
What?
Just to use a little legal jargon from my brief writing days.
Okay, then our next announcement is definitely a unanimous opinion. Thus, to David Levine
and the Bloomberg legal team,
it gives us a great pleasure this evening to present you with Legal Outreach's Corporate Diversity Champion Award.
For showing your commitment to diversity.
And for your partnership with Legal Outreach.
Mr. Levine, please come forward to accept this award, which you and the members of the Bloomberg team most definitely deserve.
I still have some notes, somebody else's notes here on the stage. Good evening. Thank you, Alexis and Carolyn, for the kind introduction. I couldn't do what you did during the Debater of the Year contest, not when I was in high school and not as a professional. You really are so impressive. Really, all of the students, so impressive. The last time I was in this venue was 15 years ago. And my wife and I, then my fiancé, were looking for places to get married. My wife said to me, "How about City Hall?" And I said, "How about Gotham Hall?" My colleagues who have worked with me for a long time, and my wife, know that I am into grand gestures, that I cannot back up. It was a little bit too expensive, so we compromised on another venue. It was still very nice, just less expensive. We are now into the portion of the program which I think is labeled after party, being after 9 p.m. And this will be the first and last time that my name will ever be used with the words after party. Because I'm usually in bed at this hour. Sad but true. I do get up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day, so there's a reason for that. Every time we engage with legal outreach students, we are reminded of the incredible talent the program attracts and develops, and the transformational impact of our collective efforts, which we are here tonight to celebrate. Happy 40th anniversary, Legal Outreach. Congratulations and happy anniversary to James O'Neill. 40 years, James, 40 years. I've been at Bloomberg for 11 and a half. No way. I won't make it for 20. Make no mistake, we are here tonight to celebrate this wonderful organization that James started out of law school and James's amazing career. It's an honor to be a part of an evening as special as tonight. But frankly, it's also a little bit awkward. I do have an issue with any semblance of co-billing, as it is with James, especially tonight. But a colleague of mine, and my colleagues are very good at bringing me down to earth, had a very effective way at convincing me that it was all right. And the colleague said, "David, this isn't about you," which I sometimes need to be reminded of. "Relax. You're there to fundraise." I panicked again, because I'm not very good at it. So the entirety of my fundraising appeal tonight is please give, and thank you to those who have. The focus tonight really should be and will be on James, and I'll get to James again later. As a legal and compliance department, we are involved with dozens of not-for-profits in connection with our core DEI and pro bono initiatives. As a company, in the US alone, Bloomberg has relationships with more than 1,000 organizations in support of its philanthropic mission. We don't have time to delve into the full scale of what Bloomberg does as an organization. In addition to the hundreds of thousands of employee hours contributed annually to our philanthropic mission, Bloomberg Philanthropy's annual financial contributions tally close to $2 billion. Our areas of involvement range from the arts and education to the environment, government innovation, and public health. We also have founders projects, including the Greenwood Initiative, a bold effort which seeks to accelerate the pace of wealth accumulation for Black individuals and families and address systemic underinvestment in Black communities. 2 Greenwood initiatives that focus on the power of education include the $150 million Vivian Thomas Scholars Initiative launched at Mike Bloomberg's alma mater, Johns Hopkins, to address historic underrepresentation in STEM fields. And the second is a $100 million gift to America's 4 HBCU medical schools to provide debt reduction to medical students. However, as much as Mike loves lawyers, and he tells me every day, sometimes several times a day, and occasionally very enthusiastically and colorfully. As much as he loves lawyers, I can't promise that our profession is next, but we're going to keep trying. Nina, who's here from Bloomberg Philanthropies, maybe we can do something about that. Even among the many outstanding organizations we partner with, few have a story and a mission that is as compelling as legal outreach. Even fewer achieve the rate of success at advancing a particular goal as legal outreach. No single factor is more important to individual opportunity than education and engagement. This has been ingrained in me from a young age. My parents dedicated their professional lives to public education. My father, as an elementary school principal in districts 13 and 18 in Brooklyn, and my mother as a teacher and coordinator of computer education in the Bronx and East Harlem. No profession has a greater impact on society and on our structures, for better and unfortunately sometimes for worse, than the legal profession. I had the privilege of having a number of conversations with LO students, current and alums, this evening. The winner of this year's Debater of the Year contest, Jessica, I know she's getting a lot of pressure to become a doctor, I've heard. This is a very high-impact profession. Lawyers who are focused on helping others, and there are many who fall into this category, can dramatically improve individuals' quality of life and, in some cases, literally save lives. We have a disproportionate and largely very positive impact on society. As an example, our pro bono program at Bloomberg, led globally by Kim Rutan, who's here tonight, joined by our U.S. co-chairs, Peter Weston and Stephen Haber, and our wonderful pro bono committee, working very closely with Bloomberg Philanthropies, provides a myriad of opportunities for colleagues to get involved. We talk about making a difference. We represent 1% of the company's total population across legal and compliance, but we contribute to between 5 and 7% of the company's total volunteer hours every year, with about 95% of our department members globally volunteering and participating in the program. The passion and dedication we see from our colleagues is genuinely inspirational. We measure our volunteer success in lives positively impacted. This is a story that is replicated across the profession. We do good. The rule of law is what differentiates our society from many others. The ability to openly and freely challenge and advocate for change is critical. Lawyers are at the forefront of ensuring the protections the law affords apply equally to all. Lawyers both advocate for change and protect individuals who challenge. One of the things that is exciting about working with legal outreach is seeing firsthand the ability and passion of the students. If legal outreach students are a harbinger of the future, and we have many alums here today as well, and the change that we need, we have every reason to be optimistic about the future. No profession in the United States has had a more difficult time attracting and retaining diverse talent than our profession. We are the least racially diverse profession in the United States. We are, according to annual Gallup polls, also the least trustworthy profession in the United States. Wish it wasn't true. I do believe that these issues are related to each other. Legal outreach is making a huge difference in addressing both of these issues. What separates legal outreach is the heightened focus on the talent of each incredible student in developing ability, building confidence, and providing the kind of support through, for example, the college application process that is taken for granted by affluent communities. This support often makes the difference in access to prestigious academic institutions, where a lot more becomes possible for each individual. As a department, our most popular and meaningful forms of external engagement involve interacting with an individual, helping an individual, solving a problem for an individual, or taking or mitigating away unfair systemic barriers to success, or even basic life needs. Our colleagues love working with the students and staff of legal outreach because of the investment and care, because of the sense of family this program builds, because of the continuity and involvement of program alums. Every single time we engage with the students, whether as a part of the Debater of the Year program or interacting with students in our offices as part of the Summer Law Institute, or when I joined Michael Cardozo in doing a lunch with students before the pandemic, every single time it is genuinely uplifting. When you give and care as much as the staff at Legal Outreach does, when you set standards as high as those set by the organization, the parents, and the students, and the mentors and the coaches, what you see is that students will push themselves to new limits. What always impresses me the most is as the students compete with themselves, and we just saw this now, and each other to be the best, they care about each other and they lift each other up. They become lifelong friends and supporters. As volunteers, we see it and we feel it. To be a part of something so transformational is truly a gift. As I alluded to earlier, I have a particular fondness for teachers. It may also involve, admittedly, a degree of self-interest, but I also really respect and admire lawyers. Then there are lawyers who teach, who make the benefits and rigor of the study of law more accessible. Well, that's just a whole other level. James, you are an incredible inspiration. Working with your colleagues, you have built a truly lasting movement. A legacy is when others can be counted on to pick up the baton and carry on with an organization and take it forward to new levels. With Tamika and the leadership team, we are really excited to continue to partner with Legal Outreach to take this movement to an even higher level. James, you are someone we can all look up to, admire, and try to emulate. Thank you so much for everything that you do and that you have done, not just for this organization, but for New York, for society, and for these wonderful students who you've built as family and really motivated for 4 decades. Lastly, to my family, friends, and colleagues who are here tonight, I wrote nothing about you in my speech. Sorry. Very little, anyways. I tell you I love you every day, and that's going to have to be good enough. You inspire, care, your level of empathy. You make me look good every day. I could not be prouder to be associated with the people I get to spend my life with every day at home and at work. It's an amazing group, and this award really is for you. Thank you, and congratulations again, James.
All right. Thank you so much to David, AKA the party animal. Okay, now go to bed. No, we really appreciate all that you and Bloomberg do to continue to give back to our community and to change so many lives. And as he alluded to, and we mentioned earlier, this event is not only a celebration. We're happy to celebrate, but it is also LO's biggest fundraising event of the year. Yeah! Let's get excited for that. So in that light, we'd like to have all of you please consider what you've heard tonight. Consider the impact that this program has had on the lives of so many of New York's youth and the role that this organization plays in the quest for diversity and multiple professions. Legal Outreach is investing in our city and our country's future, helping to lift students of color to another level so they are prepared to take leadership roles at organizations and in their communities. So tonight, please consider making a donation or an additional donation for some who have already given tonight to support LO's programming and to jumpstart their entry into the next decade. Decade number 5. Can we get a number? Woo! 5? That's right. Now, if you look at your programs, there are 2 QR codes on the back of your programs. Now, one of those QR codes will take you to the Legal Outreach's donation page where you can give generously. And there's another QR code that would take you to a form to make a pledge if you would like to fulfill your donation in the next few weeks. But hey, why not do both? Give a little tonight and go ahead and make a pledge for later, right? It's for a great cause, and you are truly making a difference in our world. And don't forget, it is tax deductible, so that's a good thing, right? So go ahead and give a round of applause for everyone giving a donation tonight. Woo! Thank you so much for your generous giving.
If that's not a pitch, I don't know what it is. Now, for some extra motivation, I want to introduce our next honoree, someone who's been with Legal Outreach for over 22 years and is now poised to take the reins of leadership in the years to come. I'm asking Tamika Edwards, who has been selected as the next executive director of Legal Outreach, to come to the podium. She's here. She's here, everybody.
I'm here, and I'm ready. So James is a humble man who doesn't need, nor does he particularly care to be, the object of attention. But we would be remiss if we did not give him the recognition he deserves. As we know and have heard, James has devoted his life to serving youth from the most neglected neighborhoods in New York City, which is why it is only fitting that James be acknowledged for the significant contributions he has made to transforming the lives of young people from this city. Now, James didn't receive this script either, so he doesn't know this. But for this, I'm going to call upon one of our very own alumni, Tyrell Hankerson, from the class of 2012, who now serves as District Chief of Staff of New York City Council Speaker Adrian Adams. Tyrell, please come to the stage.
Good evening. My name is Ty Hankerson, and I serve as the District Chief of Staff for New York City Council Speaker Adrian Adams. Speaker Adams is the first African-American woman elected to lead the first majority women council in New York City history. I've had the pleasure of serving in this capacity for all of 6 months, but serving in the council as a staffer for 6 years. My journey is due primarily to the exposure I received at Legal Outreach, of which I am an alum, class of 2012, but not just LO, but specifically Mr. O'Neill, a man who had a vision and a plan. Due to his dedication and service to Black and brown communities, he is responsible for shaping many of the leaders this city, this state, and this country will soon experience. Mr. O'Neill is not just the personification of class and excellence, but of service and discipline. His investment in the youth of our city will be felt for many generations as we tell our kids and grandkids about Saturday writing class, debate prep, and summer law internships. I can recall a conversation with Mr. O'Neill he and I had many years ago as we were headed to an event where I was to share my experiences as a student in LO. I figured since I had the hour, I might as well talk his ear off. If I remember correctly, we talked about faith and service, two things that have defined my life and his as well. You see, in our faith tradition, we talk about seed time and harvest. Come on, somebody. And Mr. O'Neill has planted several seeds in the lives of countless young people. And through time and careful watering and nurture, he is now able to see the harvest. With an organization that has a 100% high school student graduation rate, a 98% four-year college matriculation rate, and a 95% college graduation rate. And it doesn't stop there, but for the sake of time, I'd like to sum up these remarks by saying congratulations and thank you, sir. Thank you. for your service to us as students and our families. And now I have the privilege, on behalf of the New York City Council, to present you with the Council's highest honor, a proclamation from the Office of the Speaker. I'll read the first and last paragraph. I won't read the entire thing. The New York City Council is proud to join with guests at Legal Outreach's 40th Anniversary Benefit and Alumni Reunion Gala in honoring James B. O'Neill for his outstanding leadership and enduring contributions to the community. And whereas Mr. O'Neill has truly distinguished himself through his outstanding leadership and is worthy of the esteem of all New Yorkers, now therefore be it known that the New York City Council gratefully honors James B. O'Neill for his outstanding leadership and enduring contributions to the community. Signed this 20th day of June in the year 2023, Speaker Adrian Adams.
In addition, we were able to compile reflections from many of you, former law students, colleagues, alumni, staff, and friends that span the 40 years of James's commitment to legal outreach. And I just want to share some of the themes that emerged from the reflections. James is selfless. The demand for his skill and abilities could have landed him in some of the most prestigious spaces among the elite. Yet he chose to give of his time, talent, and treasure for the greater good without expectation or recognition or reward. James is a role model. He was the first demonstration of what it means to raise the bar. His sacrifice, work ethic, and determination have been emulated by students, staff, and colleagues alike, resulting in noteworthy academic, career, and ministerial pursuits, and even replication of Legal Outreach's programs in other states. James is a man of integrity and faith. His servanthood and devotion to God serves as his guide, and he makes conscious decisions to do what is right, what is just, and what is of good report, even when no one is watching. James is consistent, so much so that I, and maybe many of you, have a great James B. O'Neill imitation that I can give you a sample of later. He knows. James is not a fair-weather leader. He has stood solid, strong, and fearless in times of doubt, uncertainty, and unpredictability. The love, respect, and admiration we all have for James is palpable, so much so that former advisory board member John McMurray has taken the time to capture the essence of James in a portrait that he painted. So it gives me great pleasure to present the image of the portrait. It was too big to bring in here. And this book of memories to James B. O'Neill, our public service honoree.
Okay. All right. Given the time, I'm going to talk faster than I've ever talked before. Especially for those of you who are like David, who are used to being in bed by a certain hour, and that includes me as well. So first and foremost, of course, let me say thank you to Tamika for her kind words, for this introduction, to Ty for the proclamation from the City Council, and to John McMurray for painting what I think is a handsome picture. So I'm grateful for these awards and for the outpouring of support from those who are here tonight, as well as those who were not able to make it but sent their well wishes. David, congratulations to you and the Bloomberg team for the role you've played in unlocking the potential of our students and expanding the pipeline to diversity. Our partnership has truly been invaluable and greatly valued. 40 years, hard for me to believe that this organization has been established for this length of time. And what a journey, full of ups and downs, moments of euphoric joy and unexpected challenges. Yet, we've persevered and made it work. The program, as depicted through the videos and testimonials, has given you a sense of the growth and development of LO from 1983-84 to the present time. But to round out your understanding of this venture, I'd like to share with you the prequel to the legal outreach drama. That is, what took place before legal outreach officially came into being. I wrote the following over 40 years ago during one of my many reflective moments, asking myself, did I make the right choice? So here's what I wrote 40-odd years ago. Entering law school, excited, filled with hope, dreaming of tomorrow, searching for the keys of life, seeking the tools for change. The struggle will continue. Yeah, idealism arrives in its highest form. There, caught in the belly of the beast, struggling from day to day, surviving yet dreams fading, confessing yet commitment slipping, rationalizing yet convictions waning. Idealism comes face to face with reality. The search begins, not from without, but from within. Yet no strength do I find. Swept into the current, caught in the fog, headed along a different path. How do I stop? Where do I go for help? O thou who art the God of life, hear my cry. A new birth, a new spirit, a new life, not for the world, but for me. Revolution begins at home. A new perspective, a renewed hope, a new vision. Harlem, the destination. A call to a world unknown, a community in need, a people in despair. Faith and courage versus poverty and deprivation. Equip me, O Lord, to do thy will. A new day, a new organization, new ideas. Struggle begins on a different level, coming face to face with problems of old and empty system of morals and values, an archaic system of education, a crippling system of justice. Must break in, create a space, claim the territory. A long, slow process. Working from the bottom, building credibility at the grassroots, establishing legitimacy in the community. Thoughts of turning back. No, I won't turn back. I must continue. Faith without works is dead. Success, Positive results and feedback, students excited and motivated, teachers learning and challenged, law students curious and concerned, lawyers inspired and involved, a program solidified, a foundation established, a moment of reprieve, no time to rest. I must push on, still too much to do, problems too great, impact too small, must push on. The struggle continues with the family, with the schools, with the system. The weight of the challenge falls upon me. Oh God, my help in ages past, my hope for years to come, must I bear this burden alone? Who will stand with me? In Thee, O Lord, I put my trust. And there you have it, a recap of my law school years through the first year of this Public Interest Law Fellowship. So the videos that you've seen today and the testimonials captured the 40 years that followed. With the conclusion of LO's programming this summer, the unfolding drama of LO will continue into its 5th decade. But we can't leave the first 40 behind without acknowledging those who made it a milestone worth celebrating and who have been instrumental in the success of the organization. We start, of course, with the objects of our affection, our raison d'etre, the students, specifically the 971 alumni of our program who have been the true stars of our show. Please, alumni, please stand if you're in the building. Let's see you, let's see you. Yes, indeed. You all are the stars of the show. You are the ones who've made it all worthwhile. Collectively, you received the award for the most accomplished actors in this dramatic series. You accepted the challenge, you rose to the occasion, you endured the short-term pain for the long-term gain, and you came out on top. Your success brings joy to everyone in this room. Next, I'd like to recognize the winners of the Best Supporting Actors Award. And of course, that would be the staff of LO, past and present, full-time and part-time. You're the ones who inspired, motivated, supported, admonished, and encouraged our students, who pushed them to new heights, who lent a helping hand and taught them how to rise up when they stumbled or fell. Thank you for being the laborers in the village. You've sown seeds and you've reaped a rich harvest. In addition to the staff, the Best Supporting Actor Award also goes to every parent who not only stood with your child, but also stood with Legal Outreach when they wanted to quit. Thank you for seeing the long game when your children could not. Without our supporting actors, our lead actors would not have been able to shine and would likely, given the demands of the program, have walked off the set without realizing the potential that lies within each one of them. Thirdly, we have to acknowledge our producers. That is every firm, company, mentor, coordinator, coach, guest speaker, and volunteer that brought life into our programs, inspiring our participants to stay on track and to put in the hard work necessary to have educational and career options. Everything you've done helped produce the results our alumni have achieved. And of course, we must acknowledge our executive producers, our board and advisory board members, our foundation and corporate funders, our individual donors who believed in our mission and continue to support the vision that has been cast. Your faith in our youth is evidenced by your continuous service, support, and investment in the work of the organization. Thank you for partnering with us, but most of all, for your belief in the potential and capacity of students that so many others have given up on. The flourishing lives and accomplishments are proof that your investment continues to pay rich dividends, much more so than the stock market. The next award is a solo award that goes to the person who, without a doubt, deserves the award for Best Director. And it will surprise no one that the winner is none other than Legal Outreach's co-director, Bathsheba Cooper. There is no one individual who has done as much at every level to sustain the organization and push our students to new heights. Thank you, Bathsheba, for your passion and compassion, for your unconquerable spirit, and for being my life partner in this venture. Okay. And finally, the final award. The final award for Best Original Screenplay goes to the one who wrote the book that produced this dramatic series. That is to Almighty God. Who provided the inspiration, the script, and direction for each chapter through every decade of our existence. No one here should mistakenly think that I was the originator of the organization we celebrate tonight. I have only been a vessel, the recipient of the seeds he planted in my heart to show his love for those who've been involved as participants and service providers. God himself has been the architect, working through willing individuals to accomplish his purposes. And to him alone, this night I give the glory, the honor, and the praise. So thank you, Lord, and thank you, one and all, for making this night a special one for me to remember. And now I'd like to invite Tamika, to my worthy successor as the ED, to return to the stage to provide you with a preview of what we hope to achieve during the 5th chapter of the drama known as Legal Outreach. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, James. Nowadays, movie previews, especially for sequels, seem to run for about 20 minutes, but I promise you we'll get to the feature sooner than that. So some years ago, I came across a book with a title that piqued my interest. The book, What If, was written in 2014 by Randall Munroe, and its content was even more intriguing. What If is a compilation of ludicrous, hypothetical questions that were submitted to Munroe's website, such as, how many Lego bricks would it take to build a bridge from London to New York? Or the single most popular question, what would happen to the Earth if the sun suddenly switched off? Monroe, an engineer, conducted research, used scientific equations and mathematical methods to answer the absurd questions. And I can only imagine that in the early 80s, when James Bernard O'Neill encountered the dearth of misrepresentation or representation of minorities from underserved communities at Harvard Law School and later in the legal profession, he thought, what if I can inspire students to think about future professional careers and equip them to succeed in high school, top colleges, and beyond? And at the time, it probably appeared to be a ludicrous, hypothetical question. But here we are, many of us contributors to and beneficiaries of the vision. And as I take the reins and begin to imagine the next 40 years, I have my own what ifs. What if one of our most vulnerable populations, Black and Latin boys, could apply to and thrive in our program at a rate comparable to that of our girls? All students are given the opportunity to take advantage of our programming, and our young ladies are thriving, while our young men, particularly Black and Latin, more easily succumb to the social pressures, suffer from the effects of teachers engaging them from a deficit perspective, and contend with the unfortunate stigma of being connected to a rigorous academic program. The disparity, as many of you know, is apparent in our SLI cohorts, internship assignments, and even our college-bound graduating classes. It is incumbent upon all of us to think more creatively about how we recruit students, what we do at our gateway program, the SLI, to get Black and Latin boys to buy into our approach and connect more deeply to the LO community without sacrificing offerings for our girls, and tailor our programming until the gender achievement gaps are non-existent. What if we could amplify our impact by honing in not just on families, but on those communities in New York City that are the most impoverished? Over the decades, we have witnessed the generational impact of the program on the families we've served. There are alumni whose children and nieces, nephews, and cousins have gone through the program. And at this point, there are approximately 75 sibling combinations that have passed through College Bound. And they're here. And our families have provided the best testaments to the efficacy of our programs. But what about those for whom there is no connection? How do we reach them? The truth is, and you heard this tonight, that access to high-quality schools in New York City is limited, particularly in Black and Latin communities. But we know we have a model that works for vulnerable populations. My hope is not just to identify students from struggling communities, but to fortify relationships with the schools and community-based organizations in those communities so we can not only make a difference in the lives of the families we serve, but transform whole areas like Jamaica, the South Bronx, Brownsville, and East Harlem. What if promoting diversity were not just a fleeting trend or response to racial, social, and economic injustice, but an embedded, ongoing fixture that is at the forefront of our personal commitments and our firms' and corporations' commitments? Building the pipeline just from high school into college is insufficient to advance diversity. Necessary, yes, but insufficient. The pipeline must be maintained and sustained by sharing the secrets to success at every level of the professional ladder with candidates from underrepresented backgrounds, by taking active steps to prepare historically underrepresented groups to succeed at those levels, and creating opportunities to cultivate the skills and experience of diverse talent. Over the next few years, I will seek support for our alumni who desire to pursue, uninterrupted, many of the fields to which they're exposed even while at LO. And this can take the form of true diversity pipeline programs where students who lack financial resources are given access to test preparation like the LSAT, and where they're provided with internships so they can delve more deeply into the work, learn new skills, and receive mentorship. And now we don't have to conduct research, use scientific methods, or mathematical equations to answer seemingly absurd questions. The outcomes are in our midst. And there are several groups in this room right now who are poised and positioned to be part of the solution. Alumni who now understand what it takes to sacrifice, persevere, and even struggle to grow, achieve, and now succeed can pledge to serve current students by joining our alumni board, where you can mentor students, host career-ready events, career exposure workshops, and even help students who are in college and other postgraduate institutions make inroads into professional fields that you're currently in. Our law firm, real estate, and corporate partners can not only provide early career exposure and development to our students by providing internships, professional exposure workshops, and professional workforce entry workshops, but also identify and urge others who are committed to diversity to join our newly created Diversity Council. Now, maybe you don't have the time, but you have the resources, or you know someone who can direct their philanthropic efforts toward changing the educational and professional trajectory of students from underserved communities. You can start making that difference tonight, or make the connection to those who can help to actualize the vision. More than ever, I am personally committed to not only advancing the mission of legal outreach, but digging deeper, spreading wider, and going further to reach our target populations and increase diversity in professional industries. Because I am convinced that there are still bright and promising little children out there in disregarded communities who need us. So tonight, I invite you too to make an individual and collective commitment to changing lives, communities, and the landscape of our workforce. Because in the words of Werner Erhard, each of us has the opportunity, the privilege to make a difference in creating a world that works for all of us. Thank you.
James and Tamika have inspired us so much, not just tonight. Looking back at legal outreach's history, and James's story proves that the foundation legal outreach has built over the past 40 years will last because it's built on a solid foundation. It's obviously built on faith, compassion, a belief in the human spirit, and a belief in the collective contributions of the village. Each one of you has played a vital role in the growth and development of the organization, and each one of you will determine its future. And that's why I want to try something as we wrap up here, because it is about the collective we. So when I say we, I want you to say it back to me. Let's try it. We. We. Legal Outreach is in great hands with Tamika at the helm, but it is the collective we that will determine whether this organization will succeed. It is the collective we that will determine whether it raises the bar. It is the collective we that will determine whether it continues to raise the bar.
Right. And as we continue with the we's, we want to make sure that you all take your programs home with you tonight. Because if you forget to donate by chance, don't worry, you can still do it tomorrow. Just scan that QR code on the back of your programs and you continue to do that. Now, although the program has come to an end, the party can rage on for about another hour. We don't have to be out of here until 11 o'clock. And guess what? There is still plenty of food on either side. You got your chicken and waffles over here. You got your tacos over there. You got your lamb and seafood over here. In the back, you have a buffet bar of desserts, and they are good because I already snuck back there and tasted some. Real quick, in the very back room, the Oak Room, there was a photographer on hand to take new photos for your LinkedIn profiles or for whoever you need. Professional photographer back there for you. So go ahead and take part in that. We have a DJ on hand. Again, thank you guys so much for all your attention and to support for this organization. Make sure you check out Omar on CNN every day. You can check me out as well on Cheddar News and on social media at Mr. Shannon LaNier. Have a wonderful night. God bless. Good night.
Celebrate good times. Come on. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Come on now. We gon' celebrate and have a good time. A celebration to last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We gon' celebrate your party with you. Come on now. Celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Celebration. We gon' celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on! It's a celebration. Funk you up. Hands, everybody, if you got what it takes. Hands, everybody, these are the brothers. Hands, everybody, hands, everybody, hands, everybody, these are the brothers.
This is that ice cold Michelle fight for that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls, straight masterpieces. Stylin', wildin', living it up in the city. Got Chuck's on with Saint Laurent. Gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I'm too hot. Call the police and the fireman. I'm too hot. Make a dragon wanna retire, man. I'm too hot. Say my name, you know who I am. I'm too hot. And my band bout that money. Break it down. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. Come on. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't cute ponytails and curls. Must put an end to the stress and strife. I think I want to live the sporty life. Good times, these are the good times. Leave your cares behind. These are the good times. What you want, baby, I got it. What you need, do you know I got it too? All I'm asking is for a little respect when you come home. Just a little bit, hey, baby, just a little bit. Hello, just a little bit. Mister, just a little bit. I ain't gonna do you wrong. Why you gone? I ain't gonna do you wrong, 'cause I don't wanna. All I'm asking is for a little respect when you come home. Just a little bit, baby, just a little bit. Hello, just a little bit, just a little bit. I'm out to give it all my money, and all I'm asking in return, honey, is to give me my promise when you get home. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Ooh, your kisses, sweeter than honey. And guess what? So is my money. All I want you to do for me is give it to me when you get home. Yeah, baby, whip it to me. Just a little bit now, just a little bit. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, T-F-T-C-P. Sock it to me, 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 sock it to me. Just a little bit, little respect, just a little bit. I'll get tired, little bit, keep on trying, just a little bit. You're running out of food, little bit, I am, just a little bit.
You want a timeless song, I wanna change the game. Like modern architecture, John Lautner coming your way. I know you like this beat, 'cause Jeff been doing the damn thing. You wanna turn it up loud, future nostalgia is the name. I know you're done trying to figure me out. My name's on the tip of your tongue, keep running your mouth. You want the recipe, but can't handle my sound, my sound, my sound. No matter what you do, I'm gonna get it without you. I know you ain't used to a female alpha. No matter what you do, I'm gonna get it without you. I know you ain't used to a female alpha. Can't be a rolling stone if you live in a glass house. You keep on talking that talk, one day you gonna blast out. You can't be bitter if I'm out here showing my face. You want what now looks like, let me give you a taste. I know you're done trying to figure me out. My name's on the tip of your tongue, keep running your mouth. You want the recipe, but can't handle my sound, my sound, my sound. No matter what you do, I'm gonna get it without you. I know you ain't used to a female alpha. No matter what you do, I'm gonna get it without you. I know you ain't used to a female alpha.
time. Release your strain, release the stress, release your love, forget the rest.
I'ma let down my hair, cause I lost my mind. B is back and I'm sleeping real good at night. The queen's in the front and the dom's in the back. Ain't taking no flicks, but the whole click snap. There's a whole lot of people in the house trying to smoke with the yak in your mouth. And we back outside. You said you outside, but you ain't that outside. Worldwide hoodie with the mask outside. In case you forgot how we act outside. Motivation. I done found me a new foundation, yeah. Taking my new salvation. I'ma build my own foundation, yeah.
Ooh, don't we look good together? There's a ride they watch all night long.